Take one. All right, there's only one take. Okay.
Hey, we're here, and we're starting our. I guess this is podcast episode 1.
Episode 1. We actually just got together and we were just like, why not just like record these podcasts that, we're talking about in the car,
Yeah.
So this is new for us because I'm like having like, it's really weird to look at the camera, but also you gotta look at, who I'm talking to. So
Yeah, I think we've never done this before, so we're gonna just like figure it out as we go. All right, so to introduce our podcast, we don't have an official name for it yet, but we were thinking Stuck in Traffic with Alan and Alex.
yeah, that sounds good because we're always in traffic in LA.
I know. Out here in SoCal, always got so much traffic.
Yeah.
The name originates from us going to film shoots and being stuck in these 2-hour-long drives from just like Orange County to LA. So we'd always have these deep talks, and we were like, one day, Alan kind of explained this already, but one day we were just like, why don't we record these conversations and just put it into podcast form? So here we are.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself first, Alan?
Yeah, sure. So
What do you
my name is Alan, and I'm currently a freelance cinematographer residing in Orange County. And I like to shoot stuff for a living. So, essentially what you're seeing right now is essentially some of the things that I do on a daily basis. And it's just fun. I just love doing what I do all the time, It's never a boring day.
My name is Alex. I don't even know how to introduce myself sometimes, but I do video, I do audio, kind of a jack of all trades. Started this studio back in 2014, and since then it's just been kind of like this one big journey of discovering all of my interests. So yeah, I guess you could say I'm a videographer, but also studio manager. We're here at AVA Studios, so yeah.
Cool.
Let's just hop right into it. I don't know what else other podcasters talk about. I know this.
Well, I mean, I guess we could talk about like with 2020 being the new year and whatnot. What are some of, your goals and what our goals are?
Yeah, kind of like how 2020 has been. I can't believe it's already the 22nd of January.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really done any of my resolutions that I wanted to do, but so.
Yeah, tell me some of yours. What do you want to do more of in 2020?
Well, so coming into 2019, 2019 was an interesting year because I think that was the year when I was working on other people's stuff a lot more. And I think this time around, for 2020, I want to work on more of my own personal content. So recently I just started like a YouTube channel, and I already had a YouTube channel, but more of like being more consistent about it because one of the things I want to do more is make more videos that are more satisfying for me. There's nothing more satisfying than making a video and then being like, oh my God, I spent all my time to create this video and I'm really proud of how it turned out, A lot of times when I'm working on other people's projects, it's not a project that I can call my own. It's their project. So like if I'm DPing it, the director takes all the credit because it's their vision. But for me, I kind of want to do like my own videos so that it's more of my vision,
Yeah.
So coming into 2020, that's something that I could do a little bit more of. I think when you're thinking a lot about money, I think you think about money too much to a point where you don't enjoy what you're doing sometimes.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you get into something for your passion, but then when money becomes an obstacle, or when it becomes like you're taking on a gig just because it pays the bills, and it's like now you're working all the time on projects that you might not be as like passionately and engaged in.
Yeah.
And then if it goes on too long for that, then I feel like you start to forget like why you even started the whole like process.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, that's essentially my goals for 2020 coming. And also to, drink less boba, but
as we're here sitting at the table drinking 7 Leaves.
I know this is It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a exception.
What are you drinking from Seven Leaves?
Me, I'm drinking oolong milk tea. Oolong
Ooh.
milk tea. I used to.
Oolong.
Fun fact. I used to dislike oolong milk tea a lot from
Uh-huh.
Seven Leaves, but then I one day out of the whim I just said, you know what, Assam is always, I always get Assam. Maybe I'll try oolong milk tea, give it a second chance, and I gave it a second chance, and the aftertaste at first it was weird because it's like a
Yeah.
roasted oolong
Yeah, yeah.
flavor, and I
It can
was
get
just
a
like,
little funky.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like first time I remember first time tasting, I was just like, dude, I can't. This is weird. The
Yeah.
aftertaste is too weird for me. But then afterwards, second time around, I was just like, wow, I really like this aftertaste. It's kind of like stinky tofu, if you
Mm.
know. Like,
Yeah, I never grew up with stinky tofu. I have no idea how it tastes. I just know how it smells when it comes out in a restaurant.
dude, you gotta eat it. Like, dude, it stinks,
Uh-huh.
but the moment you put it in your mouth and you chew it,
Uh-huh.
it sounds weird, but like the moment you
Yeah.
chew it,
Yeah.
dude, the taste is so savory.
Okay.
But you know, it's kind of like durian. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I can't convince you to like
Yeah. Okay,
stinky
take me out
tofu.
to stinky tofu for some time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take you to the stinkiest one.
Yeah. For me, 2019 was a really challenging year. I feel like going into 2019, I was so ready to like own the year, Like I remember like distinctly at 2018, the end of 2018, I was like, man, this year was so rough. I'm gonna kill it in 2019. And 2019, it just felt like I dropped the ball on so many things. I was just trying to, I was just juggling too many projects, like too many personal projects and too many like entrepreneurial projects where it was just like the speed that I was going at was just unsustainable. And I felt like 2019 was a year where a lot of things fell apart. But at the time, it felt very like, oh my god, that my whole world is falling apart because like this project is like falling apart and that project isn't doing so well. But looking back at it now that we're in 2020 and looking back at 2019, I'm starting to see that those projects that kind of fell through the cracks, it was meant to happen. And as those projects fell through the cracks, I started seeing, oh, this one is still sticking around, and that's when I need to, okay, maybe I should double down on this project. I should spend more time and attention here. And even outside of work, I felt that like I need to spend more time at home with family, with my dogs and my wife, and even just feeling like left out so much. I missed out on so much of like my social life in 2019, and it happens, right? I feel
Mhm.
like as we're
Yeah,
becoming more and more like as we're becoming adults, it's
yeah.
becoming more clear that like you know I'm spending more time working and with my own family, but yeah, I think 2020 is a year that I want to take everything that I've realized in 2019, work on the projects that are that have some traction and really commit to a few things rather than a ton of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you kind of in the segment to 2020, I think you did a lot of cool things already. I mean, you kind of
Mhm.
like started branching out or like rebranding,
Yeah.
your whole studio and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I mean, before 2020 even hit, we worked on a couple projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a music video cover in the studio, just out of the whim, just like,
Yeah.
it's like, you and I got together, we were in the car and we were just
Yeah.
like, dude, and it just the timing was
Yeah.
like perfect.
I remember,
Like,
yeah, I remember seeing that like post on it's this Facebook group that we are both a part of. It's called Asian Creative Network, and someone just like threw out, "I'm looking to connect with some videographers and artists down in SoCal," and we just made it happen. It sounds like 2020. We both want to focus on creating more art and creating more work that we're passionate about, not
right,
just for the sake of money, but for the sake of this is what we really want to create.
right, right.
My wife Joy, she showed me like that you can just like add the effect, and now you get like right on the camera in Instagram. You can film it right on the spot with like these really good looking filters. It has that orange and teal coloring. And it also has like this kind of nice like artificial grain that gets added.
Yeah.
And I find myself posting content that I just take from my camera on my iPhone more than like my other like professional cameras.
That brings up a really good point. I think as a DP, everyone's always told, "Oh, bigger the cameras, the better," right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we forget, as like DPs and whatnot,
Yeah.
that smaller the camera is actually not that bad either, because
Yeah.
technology is catching up so fast
Hmm.
to a point where your iPhone, you
Yeah.
could shoot a travel video with
Yeah.
it, no one would know the difference,
Yeah.
And I think also the form factor. I think
Hmm.
when I had the Canon 60D with my 24 to 70, made the camera this big.
Yeah.
I was like, when I went studying abroad in Korea, I was like, dude, I'm gonna shoot so many vlogs and YouTube
Uh-huh.
content, and travel videos while I'm
Yeah.
in Seoul.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was the camera was so big that
Hmm.
I was like, dude, I don't want to carry this everywhere.
Yeah.
Ended up not shooting anything.
Yeah. I
And
feel you.
then years later, they came out with these mirrorless cameras that are like fits in the palm of your hand, and then you could take it anywhere.
Hmm.
And kind of like this reason why you got the EOS R, right?
Yeah.
It's like so small to a point where you can bring it anywhere, and doesn't you feel like creatively creating stuff now
Yeah. Yeah.
because of how small the form factor
Yeah.
is.
And like one cool thing about the EOS R that I've learned is that it has a lot of cameras have it nowadays, but it has wireless technology where you can take the photo on your camera and then you can send it to your smartphone, right? So now I have my iPhone connected to my Canon EOS R and I find myself actually sharing photos more often because I can edit it on the spot in Visco app, right? And then I can share it with my friends using AirDrop. And like my friends are now like I'm able to take a photo, take a really nice photo on my camera, edit it on my smartphone and share it with people.
Mm.
And before it would be this really long process of like I'd have to shoot on my camera, then I have to take the SD card and then I have to put it into my laptop and then I have to open up a photo editor application and then once I do that um I export it into like a compressed file size. So then and then from there I would have to probably um upload it to like either like Facebook or Dropbox or some other way that I'm going to share it. Sometimes I just like sent it as a text message, but
Mm.
by integrating all this new technology, I'm like literally I've reduced the number of steps, right? So like before my when I was trying to create things, I would have to have all the tools ready at hand. I'd have to have my laptop ready. I'd have to have like and so by the time that, I got to my laptop or by the time I got to like editing the photo, I've already lost the inspiration. And I feel like sometimes creativity happens like that. It's like in the moment you're inspired and you want to like capture that moment. And I feel like there's a lot of trips that I've been to, when I travel with my wife. And we'll go on these trips and we'll take photos. And then like they end up just sitting in the drive. And they
Mm.
never get edited. They never get put together like the videos that I shoot.
Mm.
And a big reason for that is because the inspiration that I had for that video was in that moment when I was in that like when we were traveling. So like for our anniversary in September we went to Santa Barbara.
Ooh,
Right.
that's a pretty place.
Yeah. And when we went to Santa Barbara, there was just so many things, new things for us. It was our first time going. And there's so many new things for us. And we were like trying all these things. And I was, I brought my camera with me and I had been filming throughout the trip. But then by the time I got home, I had all these other projects that I had to get to. And so the Santa Barbara trip, the photos and the videos just got stored on a drive. And I was like, kind of like how you mentioned earlier, like I just put it on a drive. And I was like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it eventually. And it's been since September. How long has it been? It's been what, 4 months?
Yeah.
It's been 4 months, and I still have not put the video together because I feel like a lot of these projects that you put on the back burner just kind of stay in the back burner.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why when I was talking about, my trip to Korea, and like
Mhm.
I told a couple of my friends I
Yeah.
shot a short there.
Yeah.
I told my friend Wes from Wongfu,
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, I shot a short there." He's like, "Oh yeah, like when's it coming out?" I was like, "Oh, soon." Soon. And every time we see each other, I'd be like he'd ask me the
Uh-huh.
same question. He'd be
Yeah.
like, "Dude, is your short coming out?" Or like, "Did you
Uh-huh.
finish editing it?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm going to do it soon."
Yeah.
ended up being like a year, and I
Uh-huh.
was just like, wow, time flies, man, when everything's on the back burner. And the
Mhm.
one thing that he said to me that really stood out to me was, when you have these projects, I think you just gotta sit through it and edit it out, because if you
Mhm.
don't do it, it's just gonna be on the back burner because you think the footage is always gonna be there.
Yeah.
So think of it as if one day the hard drive's not there, and you just gotta, really consolidate all your edits
Yeah.
soon. Like,
Yeah.
put a deadline to it.
Right.
And I think that's the one thing that I didn't put a
Mm.
deadline to what I
Yeah.
was trying to create.
Yeah.
That's why, kind of like your trip, like
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we ended up not editing it, but I
I
eventually edited it
yeah.
because I wanted to submit it to a festival. So
Yeah.
see
Like,
that
there was something that triggered kind
see
of,
that's the
yeah.
reason why
Right.
I got it done.
Mm.
But
Right.
if I didn't have that trigger,
Yeah.
who knows? Today
Yeah.
it wouldn't be done.
It's a weird thing because we technically, as especially as freelancers and independent like creatives,
Yeah.
who don't work, 9 to 5,
Yeah.
we technically have the time to edit these things. Like, we have the time to be able to sit down on a random, let's say Wednesday morning, like today in the morning.
Oh yeah.
We had the time to sit down and get that video done. When it comes to like creative projects, I don't know. For me, it's hard to get back on a creative project once the inspiration's kind of come and gone.
But sometimes it's like the ideas that,
Yeah.
it has to come to you though.
Yeah.
I mean, like for a travel video, sometimes I'll be stuck on a music for like
Mhm.
10 days.
Yeah,
Like I'll be like, dude, I can't edit this because
yeah,
there's no music
yeah,
that I can edit
yeah,
this to. And I think that's also the reason why I'm just like,
yeah,
like it's hard
yeah.
because finding good music is
Right.
everything.
So it sounds like that kind of taps into a little bit of the perfectionistic mentality. Not that it's a
Yeah.
bad thing. Not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
being perfectionistic is a bad. I think it's a just a neutral thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's something at the root of perfectionism, right?
Yeah.
It's attention to detail.
Yeah.
I think it's attention to detail and commitment to quality.
Yeah.
It looks different depending on if you're exercising that, let's say, in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah.
When it gets just to be too much,
Yeah.
then I think that starts to lean into this perfectionistic mentality where you're caring more about how perfect it is for the sake of being perfect, right? And then there's this other
Um,
side that's maybe healthier where it's more of just, like I said, like a commitment to excellence. So it's like you're wanting to produce something that's really high quality and really amazing because it's, at the end of the day, creative arts and creative projects, it's a craft, right? It's about um it's a skill that you can really hone and get really good at, and you're trying to produce a quality product. And how do you discern that fine line of when you're looking for the right music? Like, at what point should you say, you know what, this is good enough?
oh,
Have you ever thought of it like that?
that's a good question because I there have been times where I was like, oh man, this song is like not like other videos I've seen
Hmm.
or whatnot,
Yeah.
And there's been times where I just settled for it
Hmm.
because within my resources, that's all I could find,
Yeah.
But then I made do of it, and I think it ended up turning out better than what I imagined it to be
Yeah.
after I started piecing it together and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I think it's having that mentality that it's not always going to be perfect.
Hmm.
Maybe the right song will come in the future. I'll find it in the future.
Yeah.
To be honest, I honestly just wanted to like get the project done. So
Yeah.
so I was just like, you know what, this is good enough. It may have looked like it was like a poor edit to me.
Hmm.
To other people, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. What?
they were like,
Mhm.
oh, it's so cinematic. Oh, it tells a story. I really like your stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like,
That's amazing feedback.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
just like weird because like for me, I saw it as it's not at the level that these other
Mm.
people are
Yeah.
at, like these more seasoned travel video people
Yeah,
are
man.
at. And I feel like at one point all my friends got into travel videos.
Hmm.
And it's really funny that I talk
Yeah.
about this like whole travel video thing
Yeah.
because once my friends all got into it and they were all video people. So
Mhm.
you could tell who copied whose style from the whole list.
Dang.
And I think it's really
Uh-huh.
important at that point to kind of branch out and do your own thing.
Mhm.
And for me, I wasn't more about those flashy transitions.
Yeah.
I was more about telling a story from
Yeah.
beginning to end.
Mhm.
And I think within the music pickings, it might have sounded weird in the beginning, but like the way I pieced it together in the end,
Yeah.
it worked out for the story. So
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Alex here. I hope you're enjoying episode 1 so far. We're going to take a quick break, but when we're back, Alan is going to share about a short film that he shot in Korea.
And just to hear their story, I was just like, it made me want to create a video
Mhm.
about their city.
Yeah.
And like, so when I went to Seoul, I created a video of their city.
Mhm.
And a lot of my friends don't like the fall. They don't like autumn. Autumn's the
Oh,
most
wow.
depressing time for them.
What?
Yeah,
I
I know,
love
right?
autumn.
Dude, I was like,
I wish we had
dude,
autumns.
the
Yeah.
autumn here is just like, it just turns brown. So like,
Yeah.
like when the leaves fall onto the
Yeah.
floor, it looks like poop. Like I'm just like, oh, but then in Asia, it's like all there's like different colors,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it was the first time I saw
Yeah.
like orange trees, and I was
Yeah,
like,
wow.
wow. I was
We
like,
get two colors here. Evergreens, right? The greens that stay up
yes,
there,
yes.
and then the brown that's on the floor, like you said, the poop.
Yeah. So like using that, I used that to like make
Mhm.
create like a video, and like
Yeah.
it was cool because I got to put my storytelling to the test and
Yeah.
like hear their story, and then
Mhm.
like craft something together
Yeah.
in the end.
What's that video called?
That video is called Letters from Seoul, and it's about like a girl that has like a pen pal.
Uh-huh.
Has
Yeah.
she receives a letter from her pen pal
Yeah.
and like telling her about Seoul, and then she actually eventually one day goes to Seoul.
Mhm.
So it's a story about like describing all the places in
Cool.
Seoul and whatnot.
Awesome. We'll add it in the show notes. I always hear podcasters say that.
Oh really?
Because I've never posted a podcast before, I have no idea how to do show notes or no
Oh,
idea
yeah.
on how to link. I'm sure it's just like on the description section of whenever we upload this.
Yeah.
We can just grab the link of your YouTube
Yeah,
video and
yeah.
put it down there. But that sounds like a really cool video.
Yeah,
People should
yeah.
watch it.
Yeah,
I've watched it.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
really good short.
Yeah.
Made me think about, well, because I was born in South Korea.
Right.
I don't have memories of Seoul
Right.
because I lived kind of in the countryside
Yeah.
until I was I was 5 years old when my family immigrated to the U.S. And so when I watched that video, there was a part of me that was like, oh my gosh, like this is Korea. Like this is my, like this is where I was born and
Right,
raised
right.
for the first 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to see that on like the video was like it was touching for me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
so-
it definitely hit the spots of like a lot of people.
Mhm.
And it's, after that trip, it got me thinking I want to like meet more creatives around the
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
And that's why like, when creatives want to shoot something
Yeah.
in LA, I'm always like from all over the world. I'm just like, if we make the time and
Mhm.
things align, let's do it. Cause
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, once you have like a really cool network of friends all
Yeah.
over the world that you can go to a different country and revisit,
Yeah.
and shoot more new stuff,
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about your old stuff. You could
Yeah.
make more new content, and that goes back into, the creative life,
Yeah.
You're always creating. You're always looking for new things to make.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
Never want to stay stagnant.
isn't that called creative burnout if you like
Yeah.
if you like you work yourself too much and then you
Mhm.
stop.
Yeah, kind of to add to that, this is a little bit different from everything that we've been talking about, but I've been really intrigued by minimalism these past couple years, just because I feel like I've come from a background of like doing so much, like always being on the go, always trying to do so much. And I'm starting to see that I'm actually more productive when I do less.
Oh.
And so here's how I'm going to try to tie the previous segment that we're talking about to the next segment that I think maybe this will open up a conversation. But the idea of you can't get creative, maybe you can't do things because you're doing too many things.
Actually,
Right?
that makes a lot of sense.
Because I was trying to do this project and that project, and I was trying to work for multiple brands at the same time while also trying to like juggle different like random like gigs, like taking odd jobs so I can pay the bills. And like I just had so much on my plate that like I was making so little progress in anything that I was doing, right? So personal projects, professional projects, and just even my own personal life, everything was there. It just felt like there was just so many things going on, and not by the fault of anyone other than my own, because I signed up for all the opportunities I said yes to.
Right.
So I feel like early on, yeah, if you're looking to grow, it's really important to say yes to things. But I realized that after a certain point, it's more important to say no,
Hmm.
and to say no to the opportunities that are continually coming so that you can finish up strong whatever you started. And
Mm.
so I feel like I can get so many more projects done now that I'm only focused on a few. And I'm able to get them done sooner, get them done faster. I'm able to have even just like the creative headspace and the energy to take on these projects and get them done fast.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that if anyone is like me and they have the tendency to want to like juggle a ton of different projects, I'm the type that has like entrepreneurial ADD. Like I cannot stop thinking about
Yes.
ideas that I want to
Yes.
execute on. And that's the creative side of me. It's just I see things in a maybe in a different way, and it's like, oh, I want to execute on that idea. I want to figure out how to turn that into a business. But when I was trying to like do that for like 10 different like literally 10 different ideas at some point in my life, I was not able to do anything those 10 ideas.
I
But
do
now,
remember. I
yeah,
do remember a time when you told me you wanted to do a boba shop and
yeah,
all this other stuff, and
uh-huh.
then now here you are.
Yeah, yeah,
You're focused on this one thing, and
yeah,
it's turning out great.
yeah.
And I can
And
definitely see why you're advocating. You know,
yeah.
staying.
Mhm.
Focusing on one thing, and
Right.
then once you finish that off,
Yeah.
go off and branch off and do other things.
Yeah, definitely. And so, yeah, that's my little bit here. If you're anything like me and you have a tendency to want to just hop on like lots of different projects, and I get high off of like the start of a project. I love like the first
Oh,
segment of like, oh, I have this idea. Let's get to work on it, right? You might benefit from taking a step back and thinking about all those ideas that you just came up with and saying no to like 90% of it, right? So if you had 10 ideas, say no to 9. The one idea that you say yes to has to be worth saying no to 9 other ideas. That mentality that I've adopted over the last year has helped me tremendously, and I'm able to actually see a lot more progress in the creative projects that I'm handling right now.
that's good. That just means more higher quality content.
Okay. Since we've talked about working on creative projects,
Hmm.
on the flip side, something I want to do more of is resting. I want to rest more, and and here's the catch. I want to feel not guilty about resting.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Cause it feels like it feels like there's so much talk about hustling and grinding, and like everyone tells me like you can't make it if you don't want to work hard, right?
But you also need to remember self care, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel like self care has been sort of out of the whole conversation of what it means to be a creative freelancer.
that's true. I mean, you take a look at a lot of my film friends. Their social lives took a hit. Let's say this, like you finally make it, you shoot like a Hollywood blockbuster.
Mhm.
You're all the way at the top. At that same time, you sacrificed your whole social life. So essentially, now you're sad that hey, no one's inviting you to birthday parties or like stuff, and it's because you worked all the way to the top and you neglected your social life.
Yeah.
And friends just they weren't important to you anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why it's like so important. Like nowadays for me, it's like just gotta rest. Like you
Yeah.
said, like there's
Resting
days where
more.
I don't do more,
Yeah.
don't do a lot of things just to catch up.
Yeah.
Like you and me, just catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone just had a face. Because I can't stop talking.
Oh, can we get a BTS?
Yeah.
Just so.